Hey, how you doing? Talks Arutere here, and welcome to my journal entry. I used to read my journal for, I don't know, quite a few months, and then I've stopped for the last month or 2 months even. And it wasn't because I didn't want to do it. It was really just because I was going through a lot and my energy and time and creativity was diverted somewhere else. So in the last 24 hours, I've had not one but two people mention these entries and say how much they loved it and they thought it was really good and it was a blessing to them. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go back and start doing them again, because if it helped two people, and I know it helped more than two, then who am I to stop it? So today I am reading from actually last week, 2nd of June 2023. Challenges squeeze out creativity because you cannot stimulate your mind from the outside, i.e., your senses, and from the inside, i.e., your spirit, at the same time, and expect it to produce only spiritual realities. And then I go on and I say, Jesus said, man must not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. This means we cannot live sensually only and expect spiritual results. And this I wrote because, needless to say, I've been dealing with some challenges, which is a very normal part of life and a very normal part of my life. By saying that, it's not an attempt at moaning or complaining or saying that my life is full of challenges, because honestly, it's not. I have been blessed with a beautiful life, but like every normal person, it's punctuated occasionally by challenges. And I've been in a particularly drawn out season, or I was in a particularly drawn out season. And here I'm writing the result or the benefits of it. What I can see happening in my own life in this season is that my creativity is being squeezed out of me. And by that, I mean the ability to solve problems that I previously would have avoided, or maybe I would have left to the wayside, or I would have prayed about it, or just given up and said it's not for me. Now I find that because I have nothing physical or tangible to hold on to, I'm going back into myself. I'm pulling out my creativity. I'm pulling out my gift and tapping into all that God has placed inside me. And that is having a phenomenal effect in the way that I'm living my life. It's having a positive effect in my decision making. It's helping me to see myself in a different light, in a much more positive light. And by positive, I mean capabilities and giftedness and talent and abilities. And also, it's helping me believe that the dreams that I have are valid and are already complete and in existence. And my job is just to bring it into the physical realm so that it's manifested. And so I also go on to say, when I said about what Jesus said, that man must not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. That's a scripture in the Bible when Christ was being tempted by the devil, and tempted. One of the first temptation was turn these stones into bread, because Jesus was fasting and so he was hungry, and the devil came and said, hey, why you're hungry? Why don't you turn these stones into bread? And my understanding as it relates to challenges is it's very normal and easy for us to reach out for physical sustenance and solutions when we have a deeper problem, or when we have a deeper need. And when there is a spiritual need, or when there is a need that's beyond the physical level, i.e., we're not just talking about hunger here. We're not just talking about hunger that can be satisfied by food. We're talking of a deeper type of hunger. Then that type of hunger, that type of need cannot be solved by a material thing. It needs to be solved by an unseen thing. If you have been watching any of my videos or listening to my podcast or reading my blog, you'll know that I talk a lot about spirit, soul, and body, and how we're made up of spirit, soul, and body, and the spirit is the superior part of us, is the most superior, and the mind is superior to the spirit, is superior to the mind is superior to the body. And that's the order in which, if we were to live our best life possible, then we would live from our spirit. But many of us live sensually. We make decisions based on what our senses perceive. We we solve problems with the material, with the physical. For example, and I mention it here, that the solution to a physical lack is not to fulfill the need. The solution to poverty is not the receipt of money. The solution to somebody who is in poverty, you don't solve their problem by giving them money, but rather you solve their problem by teaching them to think differently. So right thinking is what will convert a beggar to a giver. And it's not about the material. So my whole thing here was recognizing and almost celebrating who I am on the inside, so that that person on the inside can show up and solve the problems that I'm facing on the outside. I no longer want to rely on the physical, the material, the tangible, as though they are the best solution to whatever challenges I'm facing. They may solve a problem in the interim, but they wouldn't solve the problem long term. There's a very well-known saying that goes, teach a man, give a man a fish, and you'll feed him for a day. Teach him to fish, and you feed him for life. So that's what this is about. It's really about not assuming that every problem is physical. And if you only see problems as physical, then you're only ever going to seek physical solutions to it. But if you see problems as different, i.e., the outcome of your thoughts on the inside, or something even deeper, which is something going on in the spirit realm, then you are in a better position to solve the problem permanently and not temporarily. I hope this helps you. If you want to learn more, head to livinginsideoutpodcast.com or my website, talksarotori.com. And if you're watching this on Instagram, the links are in the bio. Have a nice day. Talk to you soon.